with Assalamu alaikum, and we are live. Good afternoon, everyone.
Well,
Um, Welcome to day two, panel two session. Today is day two of the Food and Agric Summit, and we've had two master classes. We've had the first panel session, and this is the second panel session that we are going to. My name is Lawal Halima Saidia, a community manager for Muslimas Speaks Tribe. And this panel, so welcome, ma. With me on this panel are supposed to be three sisters, but with one panelist is here, the other two would join us very soon, inshallah. Um, with me is the founder of Nature's Bounty, Mrs. Soliha Lasaki. Did I get the surname correct, ma?
yes, absolutely. Yes. You're correct.
Okay, well, Jazakumullah khairan for accepting our invite.
Thank you for having me.
The food that are both spirit grounded and globally
I think I've lost you.
competitive. And the topic culture, but basically we are going to be focused on building said. Sorry, it's about to rain here, so the network might be fluctuating a bit. As I was saying, we are going to be talking about building halal value chains for local and global markets because as Muslims, one of the challenges we face is getting halal products that we are going to, especially when it comes to some goes against our faith. And we are back. The network is fluctuating.
It
As
is.
I was saying, I said as Muslims, there are some things that we cannot consume due to our faith. And how do we go about it? Because some of these things are things that we like. Then is there a way that we are going to go about it in order for it to become halal? And that is what this panel session is going to be focused on. And I have some questions here that we would try and answer. Bismillah, let's start before the other two panelists would join us. The first question I have here is, how do you perceive the concept of halal extending beyond mere compliance with religious dietary laws to encompass ethical and sustainable food production?
Okay. So thank you very much. For um halal food is not just don't eat pork, don't drink alcohol, maybe kill your animals in a certain way. It's actually more than that. The concept of Islam in regards to food is about everything that is good is allowed for us. So it's not only about those kind of animals or a particular type of food. It also includes things like how you, for example, take care of your animals, like animal welfare. You understand? There's also about environmental protection, for instance, like you can't just be producing food and be harming the environment from which that food grows, because eventually it will deplete the environmental resources. Do you understand? So it is basically that everything from the inception of your food production to the time when the food is completely produced, you understand, everything has to be sustainable, so that it keeps on giving value to life. It keeps on managing the concept of life cycle of ecosystem, and things like that. So halal food and organic farming or sustainable farming or sustainable food production, most times sustainable food production is called organic, right? So organic food production is basically like following the tenets of al-Islam. It is easy. It is easy to see it as such, because all of these things that organic food production or sustainable production preaches are all the things that Allah wants us to take note of as Muslims. Don't be wasteful in sustainable food production, also called organic food production. There isn't room for wastages. You either recycle, reuse, or turn it into something useful. You understand? So, and in Islam too, we don't even take too much food. For example, Allah said in Quran that we should eat, but then we should not do it in excess. You understand? All of these things are some of the things that the organic food production or sustainable food production teaches or preaches. So it's like it is very, very easy to say that both of them are well aligned.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you. When it comes to halal food, it's not just about do not eat this or do not eat that. It also includes the animal welfareism and also
Yeah.
the environment in which we prepare these foods. Thank you very much. Ma, as a specialist in various forms of healthy living, how can how can the principles of halal food production align with sustainable agriculture and food system?
Sorry, I didn't quite get you.
Okay, ma, I said as a specialist in various forms of healthy living, how can the principles of halal food production align with sustainable agriculture and food systems to contribute to global food security?
It's a bit noisy here.
Okay, let me repeat the question again. I said as a specialist in your field,
Okay.
how can the principles of halal food production align with the global system? How we contribute food to global food security?
Okay. Okay. Well, it starts maybe from information. For instance, like we we can't be living like in a secular like environment. It has to be that we need to like propagate what are tenets, the tenets that we believe in. You understand? So it is easy to align both when you have information about maybe what they do, what they grow, what they eat, their lifestyle and things like that. So information is one of the ways by which we can do that. And then when we have that information, then we tend to like dissect it to find out how we can rule out the ones that are good for us as Muslims and the ones that are not good for us as Muslims. It is basically information, getting information out there about um exchanging information, actually, like making people be aware of what our own tenets, what it dictates for us to do, and marrying it with what the organic or sustainable food production chain, what it does. So for example, in organic food production, some people eat pork, for instance. I know we as Muslims, we won't go near that. But then even organic farmers even do this, as in they farm pigs and then they sell it to organic eaters that eat pork. So we our own, how we come in is like we have the information that this person, you ask questions, you let them table out their processes. You, for example, if you have like an organic market, for instance, let them list out what they bring in to be sure that everything is in line with what your end users will use. Do you understand? So it has to be that everybody will declare what, be open about what their products are. You have to be open about what your products are. And then if you are serving like a Muslim market, for instance, then of course that is where the information comes in. So you let the organic farmers know that, okay, even though your organic pork is done in a sustainable way, we still can't eat it because it is not part of what we can do. So it's basically exchange of information. So the more information you exchange about the limits that you have as a Muslim, the more they get to do things that will benefit you more. So basically information sharing.
Okay, thank you very much. And I had a flashback of something that happened when I was still in school. I went to a roommate's place and I saw her cooking meat. And I was like, today we are going to enjoy you. Look at me, look at the way this meat is. And I laughed so fine when she was doing it. Something just like, where did you even get money to buy this much meat? Because we are here struggling to get money for handouts and the rest. We're complaining few days ago, and look at you cooking a big pot of meat. And she was like, somebody sent meat for her from Kaduna that it's dog meat. I was like, I also be lying regime. Dog meat. Thank God I've not gone to do ojukokoro and carry it and put in my mouth. They said yes, dog meat. She will use it and cook now. We will all eat. I was like, sorry, it's not allowed. I'm not permitted to eat dog meat. And she was like, she has not heard of it. For someone that grew up in the north, she doesn't know that Muslims are not allowed to eat dog meat. So thank you very
Okay.
much. Like you said, all starts from information, especially now that we are mixed. It's not just we
Yes.
are living in
In
a
fact,
Muslim community
yes.
alone.
In fact,
We are mixed. When you
yes.
eat,
I was going to say that. Okay,
when
so
you
there is an organic farmers market that I visit, organic farmers market. So even though I know that all of them have like sustainable practices on their farms, when they sell anything, I tend to ask questions because there are different levels of sustainable farming and organic farming. There are so many levels. Okay, so there's this particular farmer. I wanted to, you know, talk to him and maybe get his products. He farms bananas. So I was going to get bananas so that it will be my main supplier for my own products for Nature's Bounty for dehydrated banana. So I just thought to ask him, so what do you do? How do you do? Even though I know it is organic, you still need to ask questions
so
so that
yes,
you don't know the
yes,
kind of organic
sure,
they are really doing. So I asked him and he said, okay, so he farms pigs and
yes.
so they use the the waste of the pigs to fertilize their farm. I was like, oh no, no. Oh no, no. So you really, really need information. So as one, you can't just assume that because this person is an organic farmer. Yes, it's into sustainable, farming, you understand, but it doesn't align at all. Even in there are also some people that do they use is it palm wine? There's so many natural, it is natural, they get for, but for us it is extreme. They use it on their farm. So there are some of those things that you really can't do. So you need to know what kind of organic that person is, what kind of sustain. It is actually sustainable farming. It's just that it doesn't align with our own, faith. So it's information.
Yeah.
Just continue to ask questions so that you don't fall prey of.
Information is actually key. And you said something about palm wine. Especially for those that are into pastries, there I
Mm.
recently actually that they use alcohol to preserve cakes for a
Can you
very long
imagine?
time, especially to wedding cakes and so on and so forth. So my concept was here to answer this question. Well, when you use alcohol in the cake, it can last for a longer time. It can stay up to
Wow.
2 to 3 months without getting or anything, but we are not allowed. So even the pastries we eat, it's either you buy from a confirmed Muslim vendor or whoever you are buying from, you have to confirm, you have to ask to be sure.
Yes.
So thank you very
Yes.
much, Ma. Like you said, information is key. Also, the next question here is, how important is halal certification in building consumer trust both within the Muslim majority countries and in global countries?
Okay. In fact, it is absolutely important. It is very important. It's just that it has a lot of challenges. So let's say all things being equal, all the processes are checked and all of that. The certification goes a long way in building trust. Like, there are so many things that maybe when you travel abroad, there isn't anybody to ask. Maybe the farmers, you really can't meet some of them one on one. You can't go to all the farmers market. So one of the things that will help that person, the customer, to make a decision is that allow certification badge on your packaging. So it automatically make them trust that, okay, this thing is safe for me to eat. And halal is so important for us. Like, everything we have to eat is halal, you understand? So for us, that is the only bridge to making your decision, either to buy or not to buy.
On
So if you are into food production, and especially if you are going into a global market, there are so many people who will not be able to meet you, who will not be able to call you, they can't mail you and things like that. So it is just that badge that they will need to rely on, and your product will actually be halal. But because you do not have that
that,
particular badge, you may even be making a lot of loss, losing sales just because of that. So for a food production person or company, it is absolutely important, absolutely. So if you are in a local market and the people that are buying from you are just your local, they can knock and ask you that, is it halal? That will be all. But we are talking global markets. How many people can you reach actually? So that is what sells you, even when you are not there. So that's
and
that's 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 about it.
yes, now certification builds trust. That is just it. Especially when you are in a global market where you have no direct contact with the producer, or that halal badge that is usually there. Once we as Muslims see that halal badge, we know that, okay, somebody has gone through seen it, so certification is that. But the certificate doesn't come that easy. Like you said, it doesn't come that easy. I believe that there are some channels, the government channels, in which it has to pass through, and that will bring me to the last question for today. What role should government and international bodies play in standardizing halal certification?
Okay. So it's because human beings, we are very disobedient. Oh. We are very disobedient, and we even like, it's this kind of it's eating into the society. Even Muslims are kind of careless too. Even though we know that this is halal, we don't do the like all the things we are supposed to do. So government needs to clamp down more, and maybe form more bodies. We need a lot of people out there on the field actually checking that those people are doing what they are supposed to do. You understand? So in the case of organic farming, okay, just like the pig that I mentioned, that man that was using it. So I want to continue that story now. I further went to like the organizer of that farmers market. So the person is like a top official in that like a the organization. And when I tabled my concerns, the woman actually said that it is not actually allowed for the man to use the pig waste on the farm, because they have Muslims who are also into organic like organic eating, you understand? So that means
Farming.
it is actually, yes, that means it is causing harm to a particular set of people, which it is which isn't part of the organic farming practice, you understand? So imagine that that kind of person just continues to do that, and is also a certified member of that organic farmers community. So we need more people to really clamp down on people, on the farmers, on the food producers. I've heard of cases where people say, "Oh, we are selling organic tomatoes," and when the officials went to their facility to check, they actually saw the woman going to mile 12 in Lagos, the popular market where we know that they only sell conventional tomatoes, bought the tomatoes, rinsed them, and sold them off as organic tomatoes. And organic is such that you have to pay a high amount. You understand? So if in the market you get like 2,000 naira, organic produce is like maybe 5,000 naira for the same quantity. So the person was enjoying a higher, return for the same product. So we need people, we need officials always out on the field, making sure that people are complying. Otherwise, people will want to get away. Even Christians now are even doing organic farming. A lot of Christians. There's a farm that I remember now. The owner is a Christian. She has halal on her chicken. Halal. So if we are going to be having those kind of people that don't even know anything about our religion, they don't really, what do they know about halal? Except maybe what they heard, are kill in a certain way. There are other things that
Exactly.
goes into halal too. Even treating your workers well. You don't know the things like, okay, when you use the workers, you pay them before their sweat dries. Do they know things like that? Because that alone can even make your product to not have baraka. Do you understand? So all of those things, we need to make sure that people are complying. So it doesn't matter if you want to be, if you're a Christian and you want to do halal, food production, make sure that you are doing real. Otherwise, people will get away with doing rubbish. And then even NGOs, volunteers. Hey, God, can't believe this.
Um, Nature's Bounty was talking about how we need to involve the government in certifying halal products, how the government needs to get people to actually check these things before the certification of halal is given on different products, because you can imagine the story she told us of a woman who would go down to mile 2 to get tomatoes and sell her tomatoes as organic tomatoes at a higher price, and there's nobody to check it. If she's not, if nobody had the idea of what she was doing and actually went to go and cross check, and verify what she was doing, she would have gotten away with it. Or like the man that was using the waste of the pig in planting bananas, not minding that, and this man is already a certified halal certified producer. So the government needs to play an important role. Government needs to be put in place. People need to be put in place to check these things constantly. Not that when you check for a period of 2 to 3 months and you be like, yes, this person is into halal products, and the person is just left on his own. The person can revert back to doing quick rolls and getting more out of what he or she is supposed to do. So she was saying that the government should be careful and have more people to check these things. And as Muslims, definitely we should always have it at the back of our mind that we should always ask. We should just ask, because If you ask and you are giving a wrong information, then you know your part. You have diligently done your part by confirming if whatever you are about to consume is halal or not. But if you do not ask and you consume, that is where the problem is. You have unintentionally and unknowingly, and also due to carelessness, consumed that which you are not supposed to consume. So, therefore, all in all, we should be careful. We should ask information. We should be aware before we consume anything, and also we should, like she said, halal doesn't. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Well done. Well done. As Allah will have it, we were just able to have just a panelist on this panel, and she had really did justice to the topic. Alhamdulillah. Well done. Well done. Yes, I totally agree with what you said because even the religion we practice encourages us to seek knowledge. Ignorance is not an excuse, and it can also be very, very even expensive more than seeking the knowledge. If we fail to seek the knowledge, the consequences that might come from us being ignorant might be way expensive compared to seeking for that knowledge. And like you said, ask questions. And from what Mrs. Tolia mentioned, people are, they've bastardized the halal of a thing. Everybody just mention it without knowing the intricacy and the truth is, I don't even know. Take for example the story that you shared also. Let me say if you had done the long truth,
I just go and dip
you
my
could
hand
have
inside
just
somebody's mouth and be like,
you
this
could
is
have
me
just
too.
even done thinking that you are flexing, you are enjoying yourself. I am glad for the wisdom that Allah gave you that made you to have that. And also alhamdulillah that the person was also truthful because she may
Yes.
decide not to tell you that it's a dog meat.
She
She may decide
knew
and
that it
you that
wasn't allowed.
you might not even recognize it. You might not even recognize that it's a dog meat. So Allah really helped you that she was able to actually tell you the truth. Alhamdulillah. And I think Sister Solia is out. Let me check if she's
Alhamdulillah.
back. Oh, Adiva. Okay, she's back. I'm trying to get that on. She's trying to come up.
Going to misbehave because it's about to rain here.
All right. I don't know. It's she appeared on your screen because from my own end, it's still rolling. She's not on the screen. Okay, she's back. I will be concluding very soon, inshallah. So you can just wrap up with the last question and
Okay, I'm sorry for that break. I've been on a
yes,
journey, so okay. So from experience, we see that most times the government is not usually able to handle a lot of projects that they commission. So even with that, we still need more NGOs to weigh in. We need a lot of NGOs just helping, to augment whatever the policies, that the government. So when the government issues out the policies, of course they'll have board of people to manage it. But then there will also be organic organizations, NGOs that will also be working in line with the government and even advising them, because sometimes those government people are more, they're not really knowledgeable about this, the concept. They need a lot of information from the real stakeholders. So the stakeholders being we, the Muslims, giving them the correct information. So we need to be on the board with them, and then with the farmers. So let the farmers, as in the farmers that do the actual job, or whoever the food producers are, whoever the food producers are, they, so they will come to table their, their processes, and then the Muslims that really, um that will benefit from this should be there, so that they will tell them, okay, no, 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 this one we can't accept this. Okay, this, why don't you let us do it this way? So they will give them like guidelines with, Islamic tenets, what our religion allows and what our religion does not allow. You understand? So even for the government, it will also help in shaping the policy so that it will not come back to bite us again. You understand? So a lot of these things, just like commitment to making sure that this thing goes on in the right ways, so that nobody is doing something wrong. And then if there are people that are, if there are people that are making, cutting corners and all of that, let there be punitive measures. So it will be like a deterrent for others that thinking to cut corners as well. Because human beings, it is kind of difficult to manage human beings at times. Yeah, in fact, okay, so I have an example of a farmer that I know who was into organic farming. She does organic chicken production. So, sometimes when maybe you're not prepared, unfortunately for her, our staff were kind of lax. And with organic farming, you cannot be lax. And chickens, they kind of they catch diseases easily. They transmit diseases equally, like when they're in their coop. So she wasn't around to supervise. When she came, she saw that the chickens, like 500 chickens, she lost them. Initially, she was doing organic farming, and because they didn't do what they were supposed to do at the right time, give them herbs, give them, things like that, the chickens died. The sister actually changed from organic farming to conventional farming. So, and I was thinking in my mind, okay, so how many people will now know that this person has changed? So you might find that a lot of people now buy from her because she's, organic. I've been thinking
Organic.
that we should not be telling all the people now that I'm not more into farming, or I'm not no more into organic, and then maybe there are some that there will be middlemen in between, such that the end users will not even be able to reach her. This person is even a Muslim. So how does the information get to the last consumer? And if you've been part of an organic organization before, how do you just, will you continue? So, there should be like a continuity um process to check that this person last year was on organic, is still on, organic, is still like that. There's nothing changed in their processes yet, and things like that. Even with the staffing, people don't know that even that sustainable food production, treating your staff well, not only your animals and your plants, treating your staff well is also part of it. Because, for us as Muslims, you can't employ somebody to work for you and not pay the person at the right time. You understand? You have to be up and doing with that. So how is it that you now get the workers to work for you? They'll do organic farming, do all of that, and then you don't pay them, and then your product is is not sustainable. It's not following the rules of organic farming, of sustainable farming anymore, and it is definitely not aligning with the principles of Islam. So, for people just think, okay, I don't use chemicals. It is really, really more than that. So we need the government to be clamping down on people that are not treating their workers well, people that, maybe they pour chemical, because sometimes they actually use chemicals, maybe in disinfecting, or if there is a rampage of diseases, for instance, they may need like a one-time chemical fumigation, something like that, and then maybe they'll do something so that there won't be like a repeat of that particular thing. So just to make sure that when they do that, they're not dumping it on the land somewhere. They need a lot of supervision to keep the environment, protected
And
and maintained properly. Yes, clean.
there's like a lot okay, and thank
So
you so much. You've actually done justice to this topic. And the key takeaway from this session is the first thing, information is key. Then government
yes,
should be involved in organic farming, in food production, in food food manufacturing, and not just involved in the name involved, but also involved in the supervision to make sure that these things are halal for Muslims also to consume. Thank you so much for joining this session. Your input is really helpful. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you so much, ma'am.
There is one thing I would like to say. It is one of the benefits of information, how our faith and sustainability and health and all of that. It's been very profound for me. Like in 2020 during the COVID lockdown year, we Muslims, we know that black seed oil is a cure for all diseases and we use it well, right? Information
Yes.
brought that particular product out to the main world, like to the global world, that even Christians started using black seed oil. Till
Yes.
now, I know Christians that are selling black seed oil. Like since that COVID 19, they are selling it. In fact, not only that, the most astounding thing is that I know like a farmer now that farms black seed, black seed, she is a Christian. That is what information does. It brings it's in fact it's amazing. When I heard that, I was like, can you imagine? It's even a Christian that is farming it for us, and she is here in Nigeria, in the north. So it is that how information spreads your values, your you know what your religion dictates and all of that. So information is it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Yes.